people across the globe no so are joining the conversation no. It looks like it is not coming to an end any moment from now. Say Ghana for Nigeria for other African countries no more in free South Africa there na enya there South Africans for ebeja omo esansem no ka say ukopie mu e wo suku ahodo a e wo South Africa ne there e ho e na say no protest no akwakodrum eno ada update a ye de ba ye ne ehun say omo to sha apartment a Ghana for ne Nigeria for ne other African countries no emu enkrofo etete ene de school mu e na omo akwakopie omo bora classrooms ne ade say we ye bibini abofra ewo ho anase sebe akra wo ho nom no o maame ye Ghana ni o papa ye Nigeria ni any other African country ye ma wo kwan ma unra eye school dan ni mu enkosua de a de ekoso ewo eye the premises of most of the schools no ebusua eni enyan enwanwa ye papa say de attack na kwa kodru enkola akra eso ewo South Africa ho nom now yenko hwe se de nsem no ekoso.
Why? What's wrong? Don't be scared. The police are here. Don't be scared. Why are you crying? You can see police are here. Yeah. I'm with them. Touch my head. Guys, this is so wrong. Shut up. Yeah. Don't be scared. Stay here. Why is they doing this to our kids? Don't cry.
Go to your bloody country. The useless man. You can't fight your own government. You can't let South Africa. Passport. Go fight your bloody country. Don't come back tomorrow. Okay. Don't bring a peace here, please. Don't bring a peace here. Don't bring a peace tomorrow, please. Don't come back tomorrow. Don't come, please. Take out your peace from the shoes. Yeah, take the card and come out. Take your peace. Go back to the place.
ebusia video a yɛkɔhwɛ no South African schools ahodoa ɛwɔ hɔnom no ɛna saa break the attack ekoso on Africans mo enye South African no akwakodro. So now children that belong to the Ghanaian descent, the Nigerian descent, Congo, whatever African country aside South Africa no schools South Africa say they are attacking key points to intimidate and sack Ghana for Nigeria for any other African countries. First, it was the public friend is saying health centers. Health centers are hodo their businesses, their shops, they are shutting down their shops. Any idea? Say omu bora omu fie and there enkra and afei the omu dia copy omu so school ma omu pamo enkra ne free school. Then we say some of the kids are crying, they are traumatized because they are kosonom. And this so say utumi bora school mu with all this noise in Ponti Bani adia trying to sack a young mofrano from having access to education no and a hard journey ewo a crony so amafo himself. This is too bad. This is bad. I mean then at this point, we could barely say South Africans are acting inhumane based on their air cost because as we can all see, we can say mofra woman so omunim I mean omo parents and they do copy mu ewo kro no se bi wo cry ko wo omo ewo honom no se say nkra no so are being sacked up akwakoye a very disturbing issue where most people are saying say with immediate effect you know was say South Africa abai no otimi bibi the issue no because and some no baby dragging collab mu dia na say
I've seen also a reaction from most of the Ghana citizens that were saying they are applauding their foreign minister because he is dealing with this matter, dealing with South African government decisively, and Ghana people cannot be touched. The same people that have that caused Ghanaian people to migrate and come and do nails in foreign country. Today you are applauding them. They are the reason why you have left Ghana, because your government is failing to create opportunities in your country. But today you are defending them. So what type of thinking and mindset is this that we see from African people?
Queen V asemo anaye kano ena ikuti na chese asemo awo kenyina na ekusi say we've seen say a lot of Ghanaians are hailing the foreign affairs minister Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa say why there with mediations koso and how they are trying to keep brantie na nano ada ne honsem ebeto mountain so and omu chemu say Queen V chemu say we shouldn't be hailing foreign affairs minister say so omu ye omujuma ye Ghana hanum say and they put things in place and mebunu enye adwuma ya and kenye say omo be free Ghana hanum say akwako piemu South Africa ama ene South Africans so ebeto ahye omo so say omo emfree omo ekro no emu ni nyina mu no the attack is still ongoing. It's on and on and on. Me no ka say one disturbing video eno nso aba out from South Africa mine emu Nigerian lady ebusia uhye tebia lady no wo modi ni komu any attack said the amount South Africa for jojo no piepia na arehu yie papa mu chem say South Africa for enti omu ye nipa omo dwene omo otema omo atenka de manipa na ye nkwohwe video no of a bra lady oye Nigeria nim na omo jojo nte say omo de ne da fom a enesa. Ebusianfo na chese say de obia eje no wototo e was South Africa mine provided you're not a South African now you Ghana new ye Nigeria ni wan hwan ene omuso omu a said omu bedi udwuma no wan kasa obenu kra se opie fi wo dem ho ekọ eye emonten eso na enzemu a ekọ so ne de is a whole lot edoso ewo kro no eso esanse se no omaye omadwene se onye South Africa ni akrona na wo se ofiso ne de na chese obefiso akwakoka eye emma bia omaware eye Nigerians omaware Ghana fo ni adede se omunyina po chiremu a it is sad say Nigeria ni befi ni krom aba South Africa abe ware South African ni ba na obewie no ne be koso atena South African na say wo ware wo ye Nigeria ni wo ko ware South African na wo ware na de ne back to Nigeria we Ghana ni ukowari South African na uwari na de call back to Ghana and no more says I break the baby no all those people that have married a yet different kind of African men no any South Africans no they should all move with their kids to their husbands homeland because uncle for nyina womo epa mo na se baby attack no akwakodro ne dem eye akeka akonanim now yentie ensem we emra.
Our government sees that these people, they are overdoing things in us because it's years we were complaining as leaders to say we are sick and tired of what is happening. Our children are dying. If a man loves you, he must take you back where he's coming from. We cannot marry a man from Nigeria to be my husband in South Africa. If he loves me, take me to Nigeria, wherever. Let them go with their wife, with their kids. That will be fine for us.
They said there omo de share crowd omo worry different African men ne crowd omo pamomo so omo ni omo ma enko baby a bema no efri they don't even have to stay in South Africa. Ebusian that should tell you baby a xenophobic attack here cause of South Africa no abobo akwakodrum at this point in the day ye nim the betimi aka ye nim the betimi a some are calling for international bodies intervention near there say be ya eto betwa because ekeka ko schools muni ade enkran kitten all being involved traumatized and all that no entwa ye enti omo chemu a e wo se nimanimi ya no South Africa omo mampani Cyril Ramaphosa omeka bibi and I said the rest of the African countries omo nkomo timbom na omo take action on South Africa because if they were able to come together to fight for independence for them it should be an easy task for them say omo be ka omo ti abom na omo edi South Africa for ejuma because baby a omo de nsem no ekeka kono de eyetumu a enye yi abusia na chese update free South Africa bande say de adisuafo na schoolfo ewo ho no e na mwate si omo so a omo epam omo say they won't let them have access to education in South Africa say onye South African ni abofra yebe di ensem nechi na yamam update ewo ho yeba Ghana hanom say ya sabe amene o ka say de the conversation is still on pressure ekoso eyedum so for some reasons no ya tete nsem bebre se ye chemu akosombo dam no ne fa ba bia hye na alma kania no entimi nyina so a edundum na afen so no ukopie other regions so a eno so a whole lot of issues be a python wo mo kwhye transformer muni ade ni nyina ka ho bia me ne o ka say management a wo mo eda electricity company of Ghana anono wo mo de aba betu yenim say de enema ekọ a nano ada President John Dramani Mahama de tu ja say wo mo restructure no mu sisi new transformers betimi a consume a whole lot of loads no baby agika kwani de bedi be bosome miensa de kwa afe baako ansa na pressure no ebejai nti na say ye wo Ghana na wo say ye da ye ho so na ehun say from this month sa afi ni be kwa wiye de there is no peace for us dum so na enti wo bibi a enye ye nanimanim ya ansa na ye too late now yenkotie said omo de ensem no etudwa
timelines. Some of them 3 months, within 3 months we are completing them. Some of them within 3 to 6 months, some of them 9 months, some of them 1 year, that way. So all the buckets, if I go back to the buckets, So bucket 1 is up to 6 months. Bucket 2 is 6 to 12 months. Bucket 3 is 12 to 18 months. And bucket 4 is 18 to 24 months. That's bucket 5 is up to 6 months.
Yes, enti no eye ECG, eye management and omo de to just say baby issue na kodru with kania ho nsem no. Baby wo hono ma ebedi be bosome miensa anso matimi aso ano. Baby wo abosome nsia. Baby enti baby ene eye enna dodo a ebedie ansa no matimi aso ohaw no ano. Enti na say dum so ne de it has come to stay. Na say dum so no aba betena ana say dum siesie wo say de aba betena na nka mo nhyehyɛ maye na yehu sɛ de niema ɛyɛ den ɛkɔ na so utie ɛyɛ Minister for Energy and Green Transition ɛyɛ Yera John Jinapo asɛm a wɔka nyinaa no ɛkɔ akosi na ano asɛm bi a the former energy minister Matthew Opoku Prempeh ka kyerɛ sɛ yɛhwɛ na sɛ dum so aba ya yɛnkɔ yɛ timetable no ɛna ɛyɛ John Jinapo ɛka kyerɛ sɛ baby edro no wo mu entimi ɛnhyehyɛ load shedding timetable mfa maye adentia ono nko a ene betimi akire mu yenkotie nchiremu a wode ma asansem we
because it is fluid, because it's not like the regular load shedding where you are aware that for a foreseeable period of time you cannot restore power. We cannot do weekly publications. In fact, engineers are working around the clock. Within this week they are pushing to restore all the plants back online. And so we can only provide you with a very short interval period. Indeed, this morning, we published a schedule for 6 o'clock to 6 p.m. That's 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. This afternoon, they've had to review it because one more plant is come on with about 140 megawatt. And so we would not live in denial. When we face challenges, we would tell Ghanaians. We know that, like me, every Ghanaian wants to enjoy uninterruptible supply of power. But I also do know that Ghanaians also appreciate it when we have genuine challenges that is not caused by policy failure or intentional. We will be honest with you, but we'll also tell you what we are doing to address the situation. And we have since been doing that right from the day I visited the plant and all the periodic updates that we've been providing. Let me also state clearly that disasters of this nature are neither predictable nor entirely preventable. And even in advanced countries, sometimes they face challenges. However, what remains within our control is the speed, the coordination, the honesty, and the determination with which we respond to these challenges. In our attempt to swiftly restore power, safety would remain paramount. The safety of the engineers is very, very critical. We can't afford to lose even one soul or sustain any injury. And so this work ought to be done diligently, meticulously, in accordance with safety standards. We would move with alacrity, we would move swiftly, but we will not seek to cut corners. To get to the root cause of this incident, as Minister for the sector, I've constituted a technical team chaired by the Venerable Engineer Williams Amuna to conduct a thorough and independent investigation into the incident. They will focus on the technical issues and come out with a report in 2 weeks.
Minister for Energy and Green Transition and ikuti nsema wode etu dwana chese wotrema issues ne de edoso, but then the fact that Ghanaians are calling for a load shedding timetable mu de munye timetable man yehu se ene pressure na aha na ebekọ so ene ade na ochemu se omuntimi nya ne sa because we enye the usual problem na ye nimu no ene ade because ye hwe se the situation na ekọ it would take some time to fix it any idea, but then jane shishi ye ewo eya akosombo na some of the workstations na asheno our mama the friend is saying executive director no edin debre ato honom no, they are running investigations into it to know the nam supporting ema sa ejahye no ebaye enti me ne wo kase de utimi hu say mpanimfo anase ECG any together with the minister for energy and green transition womo ye omo afemu de bia say womo ebe solve that particular issue. Now so the minority in parliament womo nso eka otherwise omo chema mo de munim NDC for womo ehu nete de agumani so na mo na mo fi say no kreno ena omo catch omo chemu anache say from how things are going no kan kitinkiti bi she baabi ena NDC for no omo mpese omo ebeka ena omo twa yentro into screens ne so a o say government owes over $700 million in power sector debt minority international say edom kuma omo ma she bedwafie MPP for omo chemu anache say aban ne edeka $700 million say amene wo eka say ya at some point no ohwe baby ansem ne keka kodro ne dia Ghana for bi no mo say the last people they want to hear speak about this Ghanaian issue no NPP and I said the minority because we free so nche ye bia ena NDC ba no no mo nso create story bi dia ma ye say NPP for jaka edi ato ho ewo minority sector ni emu but then eka MPP for we eka mu chemu anache say fuel suppliers ni IPP for no ena NDC for entua wo mo eka sa eka no a pile up ababedu sa brain affect the energy sector no ena mo nka no kreche say eja hyehye any transformer any other there. This is what the minority no eka but then omo a sebe omo ho aye mobo ewo ja friend say Kanea edundum ni mu pa no the Ashanti region eho ena ahojo ewa enu adaye ko hu se pythons mienu bi ehye transformer mo a edum Kanea no ewo ho but then information na say no on your screens no or say Kumasi to experience more outages after World Cup as ECG Gridco prepare for critical transmission project. And to much de Kumasi for de mo de ne de chen wo bia de mo hu da na mo be hu na fi esan say Kumasi after World Cup no afa na Kanea no ba bedum ewo friend say enika so ebesan say niema bebre wo hono ma wo so wo ye project bebre hono ma wo so wo ye enye saade a wo mo edum Kanea na enye say be Kanea ni siso a enye ye so with immediate defect in there omo se omo ase na wo mada omo ho so ehunu say after World Cup no the way Kanea neighbor bedundum ne de enya asem ketwe say so mo fix all the issues ewo Kumase but then enkofo bebre na echemu say from what is happening no na chese niema bi hye baabi a omo nka no kre no emfa enchweye nanso utie ensemo a yera John Jinapo na all come na oka kwa kosi say looking at it no there is nothing to hide say bibi wo hono ma se omoma Ghana for aso etia definitely no womo ebebo so ama Ghana for aso ate enti that is what John Jinapo eka now yenhwe video we emra na yento aso.
It tells me that we have the men. Please continue that way. I pray that you are able to overcome everything and restore it back to normal. And God bless you. Thank you.
Star ena ekuhu no se obo entoa ewo ye the Akosombo substation baby ehye no chema omo ye de ombetimi bia na omo de asolve issue ekoso ntese de omo ma ye prove and evidence ama ye hu se they are indeed working. They want Kenya issues no to be resolved and Ghana for a stable light and mowatom because yeshe baby a Kenya dundum ne kwa baby a befa on the internet. Everybody is literally talking about Kenya ya omu edundum no eho into no there or my evidence who said they have the men who are on grounds 247 and are working hard to make sure say Ghana ye be sign enya ye Kenya ne back yentimi ni Nigeria for nyepe si ye betena o na just a generator nkwan ye betimi isu de ebe ha adwene e wo krodue mu hanum say yenti no we na ye update aba e fan Kenya ho nsem a aba betodwa e wo Ghana hanum say now ye konsem fufro emu a breaking news and answer update eba ne etwemu say Ghana your man Penny and your foreign affairs minister wo magina ya nemu esi gina ye bia amount for airborne abaso say there at least Ghana we are also seeing our value as a country yentimi ntina wo ma enkofo embe decide emaye de yenye and on your screens or say Ghana rejects US proposed health aid deal over data concerns Reuters and the distance we betuja I mean Reuters one of the foreign online platforms or moma back-to-back updates on things happening across the globe and omuchemu say Ghana ya reject US for womu any airco about health health aid huni ade I mean we saw that president webechicha a lot of aid health aid mu Donald Trump but then there was one in a pipeline na koso and sana rejection neighbor so as you can see say Ghana rejects proposed US health aid deal over sharing citizen sensitive health data into omuchema the entia wo rejected a health deal we no eno no ma boss no say omo assign deal we pay na che say yen Ghana for ye wo krodue mu hanum say no ye ho nsem bi bekwa kototombo ntin so baby a omu hu ni say emboa. Now we are going to go deeper into Reuters for ensema womo edebetu dwano on this particular issue the entia President John Dramani Mahama together with the Foreign Affairs Minister take that decision into shall see exclusive Ghana rejects proposed US health aid deal citing data concerns source says Reuters for chema omo source and edit sa information no ebre omo say Ghana anka de be yemfa so de pa ede amaye no yempanimfo aboagu esan so mo hu ni say efa ba ebi no edo how ebeba now we shall or say summary Ghana blacks at terms requiring data sharing source says Zimbabwe deal fell through over similar concerns. US is pursuing bilateral deals as part of aid overhaul. Enti so muchema Ghana the entire yesi sa agina yen HSA details data information sa efa timemufo okrodue mu hanum say no so mo sign ni deal ne pe na che say ye ho nsem bi ebekwa akoka US for no ensem any other people and omo chem say Zimbabwe for so sa omo twe omo ho efi deal mu nimu enam data sharing issue ya into basia or say Dakar April 28 Ghana has rejected the bilateral health deal with the US, a source familiar with the negotiation told Reuters. The latest stumbling block to the Trump administration's efforts to overhaul foreign aid. The government of President John Dramani Mahama balked at terms requiring the sharing of sensitive health data, the source said. Into Omuchema, Ghana, in Kantiasia Pamoa, yeni US for ebeko, fano, apomudin, who contracts bino, adea yetwemu yesi yenye bim na nini no, efa, data, say, ye hunsem, ebeko akoto emont, and ochemu say, we, adea say no, aya coincide kese pa, ama President Donald Trump, na memua wobuno, ewe US say and I watch him say Mampeni John Dramani Mahama and the DNA muma womu esi say jinaye said the same issue sank talks with Zimbabwe this year and also prompted a court to suspend implementation of Kenya's deal pending the hearing of a case filed by a consumer protection group. Into Muchema, a same way bia and the between Zimbabwe ewa afi ya emu na nam so ama Kenya na womo nso ewo nhyehyeye mu senko womo nso sign deal ni bi no womo nso womo de womo de no ato hold. Now also spokespeople for Ghana's foreign ministry and government did not respond to request for comment. The U.S. State Department said it does not disclose details of bilateral negotiations. And Omuchema kasama fwa wakasa ediama the Foreign Affairs Ministry no any abino wansheda ankasa amfa asemwe una deba kwa se U.S. for suchema se ebano nkitahudie ewo omo ani oman bi entemwa womo entai enka hunsem esa. Now say we continued to look for ways to strengthen the bilateral partnership between our two countries, a spokesperson said. Into omo etrema omo hwe kwan ometimi afaso anka entiasia pam anka koso Ghana and US in term nke betimi ayden abaso. The Trump administration in September announced a new American First Global Health Strategy that calls for poorer nations to play a bigger role in fighting HIV/AIDS, malaria, tuberculosis, and polio in their countries, and eventually transition from aid to self-reliance. And to mutrema September busumi ni mwe wafie twemu no na President Donald Trump na ba ni de betu just say wo modin hyehyeye bia ba beboa ama amanya se be yenhye da entumpon yenkoye ni mani sika ne betimi apekwan bi so aboa akoatia HIV/AIDS yare no, malaria, tuberculosis, polio ewo ye man ni mu a omo na eba beboa ye nanso emre kwa nanimu no na afe omo agya ye ho aman na se yankasa yetimi abegina ya namon so ayebetimi aso ye how ano. So the US Agency for International Development was dismantled earlier this year. Enti na ahyeya womo ehwe ema impuntu adwuma ekoso ewo aman hudumu no afiye mu na chese womo egu no a enu nso akwako ha adwene ewo honom. Now say intense US pressure to sign deal, source says say no pressure pa beda US minus so say omo ebetimi ene enkuru ahodo anasa man hodo akonti ase apam ewo sa health sector no, and was said the US has disbursed $219 million in foreign assistance to Ghana, including $96 million specifically for health for 2024, the year before the Trump administration's cut for foreign aid, according to government foreign assistance data. Into Omuchema, US for Omedikai ascend $219 million at the Ghana. No, a year after 2024, 2 years ago. And our more edis kano ema Ghana. Na ninyina mu no anche ne hu se President Trump ba ya woche mu se emwa bia US aban no edema other countries no wo mo etwemu. Now the deal that the two sides started negotiating last November would have called for $109 million in US assistance for health over 5 years, the source said. It was unclear how much Ghana would have been expected to pay. And to mutrema anka de ye ba be sign ya say president say onyin to muno nanka US for ebema $109 million no be boaye ewo afi enum emu na so say no na ye omo de maya eventually no would pay back to them, but na ahempoti Ghana ebetua no na enyam beto monten. So say they were pretty normal dealings and negotiations in the beginning, and then increasingly there was a lot of pressure, especially at the end, the source said. Into a trema shasia no na entiase adwuma kakra na afei wo munim said de ba ya say bibia age egu. Washington then said April 24 as the deadline to conclude the negotiation, and Accra decided it could not agree to what was being proposed. In Zomuchema nanka busumya iwomu ne de toso eduonu and 24th April ananka omobet na se ahye bibia kontiase no eyie na obi ate ne ho ase na se bere de Ghana yese enya de a yebetimi atoa so ebiem enam niema wo de ehye mu de amaye. Ghana has communicated its position to the Trump administration. Ti edika about Donald Trump amane say we de yentimi enye. As of Monday, the State Department has signed 32 deals with under the America First Global Health Strategy, representing 20.6 billion in funding, made up of 12.8 billion from the US and 7.8 billion in co-investment from recipient countries, the State Department spokesperson said. Enti ejuade etwemu yi na US for etimi ene aman beye eduasa mienu ena akonti asia pam na sika beye 20.6 billion de akwakohyemu a emu 12.8 billion no every US aban no ena 7.8 billion no every aman ahodo a womo nso edu womo ho ehye eye dwumedie no emu. Washington expects additional memorandums of understanding to be signed in the near future, the spokesperson said. International so mo hwe ni mo kwan say emra eda omo anim no womo ebetimi ede omo nsa ahye krata ahodo ase na de omo pese omo ye no omo atimi aye na nso Ghana de yempe ye ho asem tintontan se ye beba be join na eye timamufu a wo Ghana no omo ho nsem ebeba be di eye US ne enkofo foforo nsem ne de yenji entumu a me no kase de Ghana ya twe ye ho ede afri eye saade no emu. Now the reactions on internet no so no abeye two-sided. The beach said this shows that our people are really thinking about Ghana. Womo edwin ye ho pa say womo anjesa jinesie antum because already no Ghana for bebre na of the notion say it's high time we stop dealing with this Western world. Isan say womo niema bia womo ye no aya na insisi so. Enti ye hwe baby ansem wen so ebeko akwakodru. Now moving on to other issues, one of the trending matters are akosom na watchwe be miensa enan enie no efa eye the CEO of Bills Microfinance metre Richard Ni Amakwe na warrior ehon sensem a woni eye ne ex-wife Joanna Kwe enya ya betoto monten so ni ade no na chese akose a whole lot of conversations in Ghana and on the net. Now over the weekend ye hu se okopie mu e delay show eso our interview no okoka se wonu ankasa okwa aware mu no woni sika dada woni bibia dada, but then prior to that interview no na ya tete e wo monten so say ne company formerly my a friend is saying quick creditor abeye Bills Microfinance no ne yere and the supporting no any ade and no so called delay show ni chemu say he had his money before or call our remu with Joanna Kwe interview no ebe wie ye pe and ne ex-wife Joanna Kwe the lawyers for de ensem bi ebeto embontin. So on your screens ensem one the lawyers by also to all media houses press release into way a response allegations by Richard Ni Amakwe in an interview with Dolores Frimpong Manso aka Delay. Now the attention of the firm of Messrs. Dame and partners has been drawn to a media interview granted by Mr. Richard Niamakwe to a broadcaster Dolores Frimpong Manso, also known as Delay, on her show dubbed The Delay Show, featured on a number of television stations in Ghana and widely circulated on the World Wide Web. We hold the instructions of our client Joanna Kwe to react as follows. Into omutrema womonietwa interviewer Richard Niamakwe wone Delay ya enenam abefo mfini intentai eso. Now we note that the said interview was granted by Richard Niamakwe during the pendency of an appeal filed against the final orders of the High Court, Accra, dated 20th January 2026. In the interview, Mr. Kwe made allegations which are all substantially untrue relating to certain matters in contention between the parties to proceedings actively pending before the Court of Appeal. The allegations also unfairly castigated the reputation and integrity of our client Joanna Kwe. Into Muchema interview no eba bra Joanna Kwe edi asema koda in the appeals court a womo train the final verdict be free court ho eba na Richard Niamakwe ekotena interview no so kwakeka ensem a womo hu ne se enye nokre na nsem ni bi won so awakoka egu Joanna Kwe ehu efin Whilst denying all the allegations made by Richard Amakwe as untrue, we state that the fact of the marriage between the parties in 2010, soon after Richard Kwe's return from a short stay in the United Kingdom in 2009, at a time that he was unemployed and had none of the properties he owns now, is a matter of public record. Record of proceedings of the High Court, Accra, dated 13th March 2024, and cannot be changed by a self-serving ex post facto interview with delay. Into Usha and someone a free a year mame Joanna Queen lawyers for ne eba omuchemu se entro ena Richard Amakwe wokodi wo show ne esoesan say before obeware ne yere in 2010 no na watena United Kingdom ewo 2009 no oba ye no kra no na oni adwuma ejapade ne ade a owo ene na emu ba akokora ni ho a owo nso okotera delay show he said he had already made it no wedi bibia dada ansana wo kwakoware eno na a lawyer for HM say wo muko ensem ni kopie mu e wo court on the 13th of March ne saa na ekoba ne say na oni no ho hwe na wo mu ye den wo mu eware ye nti ontimi nkotena delay show no so nkosesa na no enkoka asemo a Similarly, the record of the joint establishment of Quick Credit and Investment Microcredit Company Limited in 2011 by the couple after their marriage, with both Richard Amakwe and Joanna Kwe being the original stakeholders. Into Muchema, they're not yet to say a company no Bills Microfinance right now, formerly Quick Loan no Womumi no and 2011 womo etna say and womo edition mua yehuno and deno and womo edit to just say the subsequent to ansem so we'll put the next on the page on the screens not just say ni no omo kan kosi say Richard Amakwe and Tron Akwecha just subsequent secret and illegal transfer of Joanna Kwe's shares by Richard Amakwe without the knowledge of our client, the use of quick credit to acquire properties and set up other companies are also matters of public record and documented in court proceedings. This cannot be altered by Richard Amakwe through a media interview with delay. Into Mutrema Edu Baby Nipono, the shares of Joanna Queen, Richard Amakwe transfer ye, Anna Joanna Kwe any moshe, or the company no echo ye and Jumabiko baby companies be nina, not ne shareholder, a year and ex-wife, not only mosha, nina, a court proceedings are one more echo a year court say. Richard Amakwe enti nkotena interview so emfa word of mouth ensisan bibia sa keke. Now oba say we note that Richard Amakwe granted the interview to delay whilst the appellate proceedings in the Court of Appeal are active. We consider this as an effort to unfairly prejudice the minds of the public against our client and undermine and impede a fair administration of justice in the case. The appeal filed by Joanna Kwe was duly served on Richard Amakwe about 2 weeks ago, with the record of appeal subsequently settled in accordance with the rules of court. Mr. Kwe's illicit motive to obstruct the cause of justice with the publication of prejudicial statements in the media is all through too glaring. Enti womu chema asene de mama ya ti ase se e wo Court of Appeal a womu de ho nkrata akra akwakoma Richard Amakwe. Enti se oye sade a na chese woye ebu court no enimti a emfa kwan eso afa womu chema Richard Amakwe entimi ntina se na wonkotena interview so embo nitrim enkoka ensem a enye nokre na onsesa Ghana fo adwene emfemfri asem nokre na ewo court a enunti no sa brekra de akwakodan Court of Appeal no eho we nyina che se adwenboni bi etaye chire sanse nkasa bre ya asem no ewo Court of Appeal no eni ho kwan empo se sebe Richard Amakwe grant ho interview etna hokra eka ho asem empo da kopem se bia court ebedi asem no ewie. Now say our client Joanna Kwe will continue to maintain her silence and place her faith in the justice system of Ghana in the hope that she would get justice for the wrongs and abuse inflicted on her by Richard Amakwe, as well as and equitable distribution of all properties acquired during the marriage between the parties as required under the laws of Ghana. In Zomutrema, womo client ni de omo be ne se on de on kasa. Nemum gidie na o hwe se Ghana yen judiciary system no ebeye fair to him na bone a which aniama ko edi na faso nyina no omotimi apata no de sefata no na japade a wo mienu bre ye no de ne chefa no ai wose ye de ma no emra no ebeye adwuma ama ne nsa aka ne chefa pepepe said de etem. Or say we entreat the public to disregard the wild and unfounded claims of richness before marriage made by Richard Ni Amakwe, highlighted by his claim of alleged ownership of a VW Passat, as well as the attacks on the reputation of our client. As the mere publicity stunt, Joanna Kwe will surely get justice for the wrongs and abuses she had suffered one fine day. And international say omo trema Ghana fo nyina yembongu the ensemwa which aniama kwe kase no woni sika bi dada no wadi yie dada ansa na wokwa kware no e na se no company bi e friend VW Passat no ni nyina enye no kre e na ensemwa wokeka edi gudu na kwa ehu fi no yentwa ni nyina embo no mo ogidie mapase emra no ebeye adwuma ama emrepemu no Dwanakwe atentene ne ebe kasa ede amano enti na chese abusia ti say stories na yemienu which aniama kwe echema na owani sika dada ansa na okwa kware lawyers for enso echiremu a Richard Niamakwe wo free eye Ambrochire UK eba Ghana 2009 edwuma kura na onibi talk of owning companies and properties inti no de omu editumu a enye ye. Now let's move on to a year and some for eso. Enche ye bia no abusiafo na a year issue be start ye and I say beto job say a year the CEO of Gov't Sami Jemfi Yebeka say ne father-in-law ne yeri Irene ne papa akonfo bi akoto ahye ne so age ne car enam so mo boni toni ade ma papa no ato anana no nsedom enam so makoma wood actress bi hu be for mu ni ade the culprits and I said the suspect I susu se omho bon nsem ni mu bi no wo mo etwe aban kukumu ye da sorry wo mo say emrantie omo adwane e de free prison. Me just say prison break and kasa and akoso anansem ne call viral ne ade amanfo chem say na Ghana police for no mo we and o matena se ayen hwe han ama be kan say prisoners edwane and suspects a wo mo custody no wo matimi edwane me no ka say police for eden krata bia ba betu monten so a wo mo mu say enye no krem say say nipa bonefo yi ana say mranti a wo mususu say wo mo edi sa bonefo sem we no wo mo edwane every prison ama me no ka say kra no wo mo eden krata aba betu dwa wo mo ensem no emu enti on your screens no. This is coming from the regional police headquarters, Takwa, Western region. Now, Osha, or say police debunk media report alleging suspect in Mr. Sami Jemfi father-in-law's murder case have escaped from lawful custody. Into the Western Central Regional Police Command wishes to categorically deny a false publication circulating in sections of media alleging that the accused persons who were arrested in connection with the murder of Mr. Andrew Amankwa at Orim Tigo Junction in Kumasi have escaped from lawful custody into Mutrima, the Western Central Regional Police Command. Don't say into you want to say and somewhere go internet and so ni nyina ade ade no enya no kre say a nipa wo mo chi wo mo susu say Mr. Andrew Amankwa a Sami Jemfi and the father-in-law ye cool no and I say to send so Rim Tigo Junction no no cresem rantie no edwane. The command wishes to state that the said publication is entirely false, misleading, and should be disregarded by the general public. Into Mutrema, asemuno sebi ebeto jano nenam internet and so baby abefe bianco for kan wansem no krebia enimu. The accused persons, namely Kojo Amponsa alias Kamakazi Emmanuel Apia alias Tola, Tanko Bashiru alias TK were put before the court and have been remanded into prison custody at Takwa local prison to reappear before the court on 7th May 2026. Into muchema yes nipa miensa we wade omodi womo ekopie mu ewo court Takwa local court Emma womo remand ayede omakoto Takwa local prisoner omebekwa akopie mu ewo court beam on 7th of May. It would be recalled that on 22nd and 23rd February 2026, through intelligence-led operations, the police arrested the 3 accused persons from their various hideouts in Kumasi in connection with the murdered and series of suspected car theft cases, including incident reported in Takwa. Into muchema February busuminimu ne de toso eduonu mienu ene eduonu nsia ene beto odwa se omunya tip of bia omukoche sa enipa miensa we ewo ba bia no makobo omu ho adwa Kumase emonten eso efa ewudisem a omudi ye ene kronobode a omu aye ne mpempi ewiewia nkofo ka ne ade ene de akoso Takwa. And so, a team from the regional command visited the accused persons at the Takwa local prison today, 27th April 2026, and can confirm that they are all in custody. Into Muchema. Adwumayefo ni bi Takwa local prison honom hwe omo koye no na chese omo ewo ho pepepa said the yetete se omo adwane no enye nokre esa. The command wishes to caution persons who create and circulate false news capable of causing fear, panic and undermining public confidence that they may be liable to arrest and prosecution under the laws of Ghana. Into muchema amanfo a omode omote dase abra no mama omokro so asem no onye nhwehwemu no a ombisemu no so ya no de abeto na ebohu na amanfo gidi a ewo Ghana Police Service ni mu eba fom no omo sere omo ase omo nyan esanse uye nipa na okodisa nyama ukodisa abone ne saade a omo bechew na omama emra no ene wo edi krata we Beatrice Texan wono ene ya assistant superintendent of police head public affairs unit Western Central Regional Command wono ena nensa ehyaase na chese ni nyina ekokosi se emrantie no eda so ewo prison honoma womo endwane nko babia and am so krama ebusia de yete ene se UTV presenter baako a se be mususu se eja kwabena wono ene hyaase pollutu the system with this particular news womo ekoche ne nanso womo ejane ti said the police for kano okope ho asem na ode sebe ensem a enye nokre ebeto monten so na ekose fear and panic to people na misleading kofo dia womo ensa so mu a emra no ene wo ebedi ne said ese enti said na yetete no police for trema enye nokre the 3 suspects are still in custody. Now, in other issues, sticker Dr. Stephen Amwa, the name no Asteka. Wababe expose both NPP and NDC. Now, man for baby one. Some people are even reacting and say, Papa we pa. Into one kasa say me. Why is he even saying that? And among for one said there is an ulterior motive looking at the controversy. Kosu say NPP amanyukunimu with the base party near the idea. And now or say whether NPP or NDC politicians now care more about cars, houses, and women than empathy for citizens. Dr. Stephen Amwa MP in Shire so into a chairman say NPP say NDC say pa manyofo e wo krodwem hanum say no ade enwunya wo pa ahyenya wo beka efia wo besisi ene e ma wo betu wo musike gu wo so na say humobro pa so menye humobro ede ama Ghana for anase timamufo mo man we mu de sune entimi nya MPP ene entimi nya NDC na amafo bebre ka ho aseme sanse omo ne se na stika wo de nka wo ye MPP ni de nka bo NDC fo achi se wo mo de omo no mo abamutu omo no mo ye sa nyoma ade MPP fo ka ho na opa che sesen ade indirectly no ono nso say amanyoko mienu no na afi wakodi ke na chi akode base ana sesen and because steka ye nipa ba kwa during the presidential primaries no or company ye edema ken pa nenya sem keto nti ode sem we betu dwa in the midst of this chaos no na che say raising a lot of eyebrows baby so chema this shows that he's a true politician when found was said there na ne party and enye ne party no asem no kre e wo ho a ye nto sebe nti so ka say MPP any NDC nyina no sebe eye sika cars ema adan eno mo ani wo so a no kre na na wo ka no enti amanfo enyan se wo mo epese wo mo dane asem no de eto sticker eso ni nyina mu no ye wo video e wo hono ma ye be kwa akohwe e wo ensem a wo de eto dwafa both parties being the fact say development community mean develop kro mani nko babia because we show more it is all about filling their pockets yenko na yenkuti nsema wo de tudwa
and the politics are enterprise Daniel oh massa for me catch you said by observation whether NDC and PP me ma dwene mu nti say marking scheme I'm not sure so benya 10% of MPP and DC for omo ye politics gidigidi e ka oni nyankopon a o wote mabi obinya na nka we asesa obinya na nka bantoma kwan nyina ye obinya na nhia so kwan nyina obinya na obi edi na obi anya adwuma ye ene wasua bibi na nani abre no pese obepushi anya no kre bebre onim so oba politics no ni na mu ana pa onya institution papa bi no head ya obinya contract e be chani sika obeye obeto car to dan otobi wo hwan cha do star hwan no onya mani bi wo no nam duba na obi ayo no ano no no botan so obesesa mine no mine no MPP and DC the number of street children in Ghana in timamu for mo nhwe ne ma bio o de me busa two parties any research institution here Ghana's problems about 30 you maybe MPP ni to me MPP yes NDC but two ni nyina no how maybe I mean MPP yes NDC because of social issues here ma Ghana for we try say but two ni nyina no almost 30 something years are we solving our problems today me say now a new number of street children in Ghana any research institution for about 35 years or 40 years down the line your problems your family your problems your unemployment your problems your CD your problems your corruption you need institution be a research into sanyama you develop your value chains it me in the manifesto by the end of the day my collected data my develop information oh me 10 years time or 2 years time young care bro because where come I ni or assassi a dear bro also a Ghana 7,000 square kilometer or whatever a woman owning ye mama sorry research for acquire research content you know see it me 10,000 acres you between you be a X amount of maize Ghana so every year you do X amount and say to me as we are the deal you benya ni nyina it may prevent say am fa bi ma ye we hu adwuma ye to say di bi kwa mana no a my research who say countries we no mo pe say no me oh you say here product do e we eburo mu ni e kwa be fa so ye ni ye sa factories in China e be fa nipa 10 million say so mo atifie ye say e be ye nya hwe me catch MPP mi so bi ani e di very first one programs here the banner is a couple of our open and Russia, so we need maybe a Russia credit.